you.
I say, go away! I'm sorry. I was aiming for your balls.
Alright, and we're back. First off, am I the only one genuinely surprised at how good the show was? Except for when they tried to pull this shit, bro. Outside of things like that, the show wasn't bad at all. And it even went on to set a couple records for Peacock, which was crazy to be honest. But now, the records. It may have been good on the surface, but the real question is, how does it stack up to the opinion of us real fans? You know what I mean? Well, that's what I'm about to answer right now. Here is my official review of the show after the hype.
It's about damn time.
And real reasons why it could be one of the best video game shows of all time. If it plays its cards right. So before we get started, here's some quick context of the games for those who don't know. The Twisted Metal franchise has been around since 1995, and it's about a car combat tournament that used the whole world as its battlefield, where the contestants, humans and demons alike who entered all have a chance to make one wish, anything their hearts desire. And who ran this tournament, you might ask? This demonic man. Like, bro, he's crazy. He killed his whole family. He went to hell and came back. Like, it's a whole thing, bro. This story's deep. Throughout the years, it gained a cult-like fan base for its super unique characters and backstories.
Boy, if you don't...
Incredibly fun gameplay, and really out-of-the-box ideas that even make the mascot feel some kind of way. It's been on a hiatus with its latest release in 2012 until a couple months ago when Peacock decided to pick it up and make it a live-action adaptation. And boy, let me tell you, they made some weird freaking changes with the show. But I'm not gonna lie, it really works in the long term. So let's start off with my first of two segments, the plot execution, starting with the summary. And for those who already know what it is, you can skip to this timestamp for the review. It's basically about a milkman named John Doe, loosely based off of this man from Twisted Metal Black, who lost all of his memory when the world's computers all went offline, and his journey across the world to pick up and deliver a certain package from a hot older woman, who's loosely based off of her from that same game. All with the goal to live in the city instead of the streets. Now, the plot is simple and straight to the point at first, and it's not really something you'd expect from a show adopting a game like Twisted Metal, right?
Welcome to my home. Boo.
But like I said, in the long term, they did a really good job because they decided to take their time with the world building. Because say what you want about this show, but this world is super immersive. You actually get to see the outcome of these huge cities walling themselves off from the rest of the world and leaving everyone they deem as criminals to fend for themselves on the outside. And it's pretty sad if you think about it. Men, women, and children alike are suffering on the streets, dying from either starvation, theft, or freaking cannibals. Just like you'd expect, the world becomes extremely dangerous. But it also gives an opportunity for the freaks, outcasts, and monsters from the real world to come out of the shadows and rise to power. Corrupt leaders, misguided lunatics, and good and bad people alike all make up this immersive first season of Twisted Metal, which in turn makes its viewers research more about the game, which then converts more of the general public into fans of the games and its lore. And this will only improve over time with the release of the second season being more like the games. So it's like the show will be selling the games, and the games will be selling the show, you know? Kinda like manga.
Come aboard!
And speaking of that, they deserve nothing but applause for the amount of hard work and love they put into each episode, man. Like the Easter eggs, the construction and wear and tear of the vehicles, especially Sweet Tooth's, the sets and props, and even down to the song choices when every song represented a personal situation in one of the future contestants' lives. All of that, and the fact that it ended up being a prequel to the real Twisted Metal tournament, with the reveal of fan-favorite characters like Calypso, Mr. Grimm, Axel, and Dollface, which brings up questions like, just how is this tournament gonna look on the big screen? Like, what all is it gonna do to this world, you know? What will be the levels? Are some cities gonna become battlefields, like maybe New San Fran? How will Calypso be? Will we actually see his story? Because that never really happens in the games. And what about the other two characters and their stories? Will they be important to the plot? With Dollface, which is obviously John Doe's sister, what has she been doing this whole time? And how is she gonna impact John's personal story and the plot as a whole? And what about Raven, Pit Viper, and Stu? Like, the ending opens up a floodgate of so many questions, which leaves the fans wanting more. Like, oh, you come on, bro. You cannot tell me that this season isn't legit. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. It's actually the opposite because it has its fair share of downsides for sure. Stuff that they better fix for season 2, which I think they are. The main one being that the first 6 episodes were still pretty slow, and though good to most of the general public, were just decent for a fan like me because without the supernatural elements or the implication of character specials, other than Sweet Tooth, everything before episode 7 felt more like a watered down version of the franchise we knew and loved, even though it was still pretty good overall. And I really started to feel that way with episode 6, when all they did was in a ball pit. That's one of the reasons why some people didn't like the show, and why I liked it, but didn't exactly love it until the ending with the reveal of Calypso and the tournament. Plus, I'll admit, it's like they tried to make everything either funny or just plain disgusting, to the point where some jokes really undercutted some moments that should have been taken more seriously. Like for instance, that fucking package scene, bro. Like, oh, I hate that crap. There was so much they could have done with that, right? Even if the package was empty, that would have been 50 times better because they could have spent it and said that it was all an elaborate test to find the best drivers for the real plot of the show. Like something like this, right? What the There's nothing in the package. Yeah, that's because it was all actually just a test to see if he was worthy to drive for me. Worthy to drive? What do you mean? You imbecile. You'll see. And then there's just like a lightning flash of her face and Calypso's face. Oh, that would have been legit. Like, I could be a show writer, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And then the disgusting crap, right? And I'll be honest, this stuff was kind of funny to me, I'm not gonna lie. But look at this dude. He got his ding-a-ling swinging around in a gas mask. What the? Oh, and my dude Preacher fucking cars, dude. Now that, I'm not gonna lie, I hated that.
What a hot piece of ass. I should lube up with oil and dick your muffler.
Which brings me to my last segment, bro, which is the characters. Because the changes made to these game characters is either really good or just downright criminal, because Preacher was not like this, bro. Like, how you gonna go from this to this? Like, dude, this God-centric believer turned killer was really cool in the games because you got the sense that he was really struggling with his mental illness, you know? And he's also the reason why Sweet Tooth has his flaming head in the first place, which I really like, actually. So taking such a complex character like Preacher and turning him into this lunatic that fucks cars just did not do it for me. No! And Mike? Oh, he was a terrible friend. I mean, horrible. Now, there were times when he stepped up for him and saved Stu's behind, and you can make the argument that he was just doing what he believed was right at the time and following his own path, you know? But that still doesn't take away the fact that he literally tried to kill his best friend twice just to make Agent Stone happy. Like, where's your loyalty, dude? Stu, on the other hand, manages to save Mike time after time without having to kill a single person or compromising his morals, only cementing him as the best friend in the world, bro. Stu, you earned that W, man. Mike, get better. And the very last person to get on the screwed over bus is Mr. Slam. I think he got screwed over, man. But I mean, it wasn't all that bad, to be honest. Like, Mr. Slam for sure gets more ladies than he used to, if you know what I mean.
They call me Mr. Slam.
Why?
Because I can crush anything with my massive penis.
But nah, fuck that. I want to see Whittlebone Tower, or at least him talk about it. Not just him in a freaking construction vest, which just looked like a costume, and making penis jokes. But I mean, at the end of the day, at least he got dialogue right, because you know who didn't? Freaking Pizza Boy, Drag Queen, and Agent Amanda X. They look so freaking good, bro. Like, look at the puff of his jacket. They only show up for like literally 3 minutes collectively in the entire run of the show, and they all die except for Amanda X, which I really hope is gonna be in season 2. It sucks, but I don't think they screwed them over because they actually looked really good. And I'm glad they were even there in the first place. And everyone else, I'll admit, was pretty good. Especially Granny Dread, she was the real MVP. I loved her and her dynamic with Twister. And Twister and Flower Power's unexpected relationship was actually really nice to see too. Like, I didn't expect to like it, but I did. I'll be honest though, I do wish they dressed more like their game counterparts, but a man can dream, you know what I mean? And the creation of Roadkill and its two drivers is really cool, I think. In this universe, it's actually them two instead of just John Doe. And that's really not bad to me, and I liked his choice to be with Quiet in the end because it felt realistic and genuine. His fight with Bloody Mary and setting her up to be just like her game counterpart was really nice too. So big W's for Mary. And same thing with Raven, but I'm gonna talk about her in a future video. Second to last, we have Agent Stone and Agent Shepard. Agent Shepard was just to me. You know, I'd wish he was more like the games, but I'm not too mad at what we got, and the way he died was pretty funny. I do wish he was more like the games though, and plus I miss his car. His car was one of the coolest cars ever. With Agent Stone though, I gotta be honest, I didn't like all the lame jokes he used, except for this one.
Like I said, dumb. Like Carl!
I loved his story actually, because even though him rising to power was based off of a lie, him being the villain made sense, because at the end of the day, he was still pretty cold and calculating, even though he made some jokes from time to time. And the fact that he made the very best from an apocalypse really makes you at least respect him as a villain, you know, he deserves respect for that. And the last person that deserves the utmost respect is freaking Sweet Tooth, dude. He was perfect, I think. His ladder fluid trick was alright. Like I said, I really prefer being more supernatural. But I think in season 2, he will be way more serious and sinister like he is in the games. But I loved how in this, they brung almost every iteration of him into him. Like his humor and charm from Twisted Metal 1, the looks from Twisted Metal Black, his showmanship from 3, and his way of speaking from Head On. It looked really cool to me, and that double performance was just so unexpected but so satisfying. Calypso was great too, but the verdict's still out on him, so I'll wait on that. But for the most part, I liked him as well. So overall, I gotta say this show has a good amount of flaws, but man, they get completely overshadowed by the amount of action, comedy, and thrills and spills, if you will, that the show consistently delivers with each episode. But instead of trying to jam everything into 6 to 8 episodes like fucking Marvel, they decided to take their time with it and managed to please the general public and most of its already existing fan base, which is really hard to do. So though it's not perfect, when you consider everything this show has to offer right now and in the future, I firmly believe that Twisted Metal truly is an imperfect masterpiece.
I should lube up with oil and dick your muffler.
Dick her off! Dick her off! Dick her off!
Thank y'all for making it to the end of the video, and I gotta apologize, I've been going through it lately, man. I'm at a university right now, which y'all already know, and I've been trying to focus on school. But then I got sick to the point where it sounded like I was going through puberty again, I sounded like this. It sucked. Oh yeah, I got a new mic though, which is cool. But then after that, I had so many girl problems and relationship problems that I just started feeling pretty bad, you know? I felt really sad. But with the help of my friends and you all, I was able to pick myself back up again. And I intend on being the best I can be from here on out. Shout out to everyone that's been rocking with me since I started, and expect me to upload at least bi-weekly. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day, guys. Peace out.